Thomas Whitaker is an American convicted prisoner who lives in an underground, windowless cell so small he's able to reach up and touch the cell. The length of his bed takes up the size of his entire cell, and no contact with other inmates is allowed. Not knowing if it is day or night, Thomas does not realize that he has just spent 12 years of his life confined to these four walls. Thomas now suffers from psychological issues and has filed a lawsuit against the prison systems for solitary confinement. The Constitution prohibits any type of cruel or unusual punishment. However, according to the LA Times, published on May 19, 2018, the U.S. Supreme Court threw out his case, stating that solitary confinement is not defined as cruel or unusual punishment. Today, I'm here to describe the damaging effects of solitary confinement and to try and convince you why prison systems need to remove this type of isolation from their systems. First, I will discuss the problems with this method of isolation. Second, we'll discuss the reasons behind these issues. And third, I will offer solutions. Let's begin by taking a look at the problems. The problems with solitary confinement are endless, but we will focus our attention on two issues. First, psychological issues, and second, a significant sensory deprivation. So first, numerous research has documented the psychological harm of solitary confinement, proving that it produces traumas such as post-traumatic disorder and uncontrollable feelings of rage, paranoia, and the most horrible, and increased risk of suicide. According to the Targeted News Service, published on May 18, 2020, Professor Walsh from the University of Queensville says that solitary confinement causes permanent severe psychological damage and worsens for people who have mental health conditions. Second, are sensory deprivation issues. A Federal Bureau of Prisons personnel visited a detention site and stated they have never been in a facility where individuals were so sensory deprived. Constant white lights, everyone in the dark, no noise, and the guards were wearing lights on their heads. According to the Targeted News Service, published on June 23rd, 2020, neuroscientist Richard Smith claims revealed that after 1 month of being in social isolation, the brain neurons in your brain were reduced by 20%. The sensory neurons that are responsible to tell you when something is hot or cold are deprived. The motor neurons that are responsible to make you walk, lift a heavy item, get up from bed are also deprived. Imagine living a life where you don't have control of those neurons anymore. Now that we have looked at the problems, let's take a look at the causes. Why are inmates being placed in solitary confinement? So there are two causes. First, the U.S. Supreme Court is resistant to change. And second, common misconduct among inmates. So first, the United States has been known to employ solitary confinement for the past 200 years, and there are no laws that prohibit this practice. According to the Rhode Island Lawyers article weekly, published on December 13th, 2019, the U.S. Supreme Court receives thousands of petitions to revisit solitary confinement terms, and they always deny these petitions, claiming that prison officials need to continue to implement the system to keep these criminals living out of the outside world. Second, alleged misconduct among inmates. Contrary to popular belief, solitary confinement is not only for the most dangerous criminals in this country. It is also imposed on individuals who are in the pretrial process of an investigation, inmates who don't follow orders, or inmates who simply use profanity. According to the Daily Beast, published on June 29, 2018, the U.S. has an estimated amount of 80,000 incarcerated men, women, and children. some of these inmates are not even considered extremely violent. Now that we have looked at the causes, let's take a look at some of the solutions we can take to combat this issue as at hand. The solutions work on two levels, federal and individual. Let's take a look at these solutions at a federal level. On June 27, 2019, the Targeted News Service announced that California was proposing a new response to changing their policies to reduce solitary confinement. Furthermore, they did suggest that they were going to start using positive reinforcement techniques instead. Third, according to the Wall Street Journal, published on August 2nd, 2017, prison facilities are not obligated to use solitary confinement. They have the will and power to stop using these cells or have them removed from their facilities immediately. Together with these federal solutions are things we can do individually. First, ask your governor where they stand in solitary confinement. Most of these prison heads are appointed by governors. Knowing where your governor stands in solitary confinement will help you choose this governor. Second, give your money to prison rights. That's right. Groups such as Prison Law Office are on the front line trying to defend the rights of prisoners who are held in solitary confinement. You can donate money by visiting www.prisonlawoffice.com. Third are things you can do, for example, going on Instagram. So, solitary_watch is an Instagram page that shares stories from ex-prisoners who were placed in solitary confinement and shares photos taken by individuals who visited these sites. You can join their group by reposting and resharing their stories on Instagram. So to conclude, today I tried to I described the damaging effects of solitary confinement and tried to persuade you why our prison systems need to remove this method from their facilities. I did that by first describing the problems behind this method of confinement, second, the reasons behind these issues, and third, I offered solutions. This tactic is overused by federal systems who think they are going to better these individuals, but the truth is far beyond that. Prison is meant to take away freedom, not sanity.